The activity continues to be here, obviously. This is still a porous border here, and a lot of activity through southern Arizona, in particular the Tucson sector and Nogales and Santa Cruz County. That is going to continue. That has been going on for years. There's nothing special about it, but they're really exemplifying it. They're really enhancing it now and taking advantage of it, and I don't think that's right. I think they're scaring a lot of people.
In terms of scaring people, let me ask you specifically about Nogales, which is there in Santa Cruz County, where you're sheriff in Arizona. Could you tell us about crime rates, say, in Nogales compared to roughly a decade ago? If you listen to the politicians, again, things have just become exponentially worse over the last 10 years. Is that true?
You know, we haven't experienced anything really drastic or different. You know, things are still the same here along the border. The activity continues to be the same. Crime seems to be the same. We haven't seen an increase in anything. Yeah, there has been more influx of illegals coming through maybe in the last 10 years, but it's been holding steady, I think, for a while now.
Does the politically charged rhetoric about violent crime exploding across the border, does the rhetoric, which, as you're saying, is some distance from the facts there, does it make your job as sheriff easier or harder?
You know, I'm having problems. There's a train going by here, but, you know, if I understood you correct, you know, they're saying about, you know, beheadings in the desert. They're saying that, you know, illegal immigrants are all bringing drugs across the border. You know, that's not right. That's not fair. And that's not true. I've been here for 4 decades, and I have not seen that the greater majority of the illegal immigrants that cross through the border here are not bringing drugs. And we haven't had any beheadings in Santa Cruz County. We have obviously found, you know, skeletal remains, and you will find a skull here and there because the animals probably can't deal with something that big. But, you know, we're not having that type of violence. We're not having that crime. What we are seeing and what has been happening, obviously, in some of these canyons and valleys in Santa Cruz County, you know, these same groups are vying for this territory. Obviously, they're ripping each other off. There is violence out there. It's not directed to the residents of Santa Cruz County. We've been kind of isolated against that, and I think it has a lot to do with these groups, these cartels, wanting to have nothing to do with law enforcement on the Arizona side. They want to get their product. They want to get the merchandise to Tucson and Phoenix, and they don't want to attract any attention. So I think that's kind of like a safety net, not only for law enforcement for now, but for the residents of Santa Cruz County. So I think they've been the rhetorics have been really far out.
Santa Cruz County Sheriff Antonio Estrada braving the streets of Santa Cruz County every day and braving a very loud freight train for us tonight. Sheriff Estrada, thank you very much for your time tonight. It's nice to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Rachel. Have a great day.
Thanks. All right, so in London, have you ever seen pictures of the guards outside Buckingham Palace? You can stare at them and make faces at them and try to make them laugh, and you can yell at them, and they just stand there all stony-faced and they do not react. Well, in America, we don't have guys outside Buckingham Palace, obviously, but we do have colonial reenactors who have to stay in character and stay all 1700s-y no matter what happens around them. Even, say, when Tea Partiers are trying to adopt them as their unwitting mascots and trying to make the reenactors comment on Obamacare. Leave the reenactors alone. That's coming up next. The second totally inappropriate appearance of a train on tonight's show is next. First, one ran right over my interview with Sheriff Estrada in Santa Cruz County, Arizona. Now, a train gets stuck right in the middle of America's loudest anti-gay political operation. That's next.